This video shows a live demonstration of a smart content-based image retrieval or CBIR system developed in Visualization and Perception Lab in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Madras. This is the interface of the prototype of a smart CBIR system. The system has the ability to focus on the salient object of interest in the query image to retrieve similar image samples from the gallery. The smart CBIR system is driven by a CBIR engine termed SLAR called as Simultaneous Localization and Recognition. This engine has several supervised and unsupervised modules which synthesizes two significant visual pathways of the human brain. You may find the details of SLAR framework in our publications. The SLAR-based smart CBIR system takes a query image and retrieves a set of images from a database with similar content. We specify the content as the salient object of interest within an image. The smartness of the CBIR system comes from the intelligent perceptual ability of the SLAR engine to detect and localize the object present in the query image. Now, let's load a query image from those available as query samples with us. The image selected now is that of a yellow flower. We assume that the user is interested to retrieve the images which all contain a flower from the gallery. Such images should be on the top of the list of retrieved samples. Our repository has about 8 different classes of objects like flowers, cars, bicycles, post boxes, spoons, and so on. The image samples in the gallery are organized in groups of different categories of the object present in the scene. Query input image through an unsupervised segmentation process of grab cut. Without any prior information of class or training, this process attempts to segment or detect the foreground object from the environment of the query image. The spoon output of grab cut is first given to a multi-object identifier module of SLAR, which identifies the object present in the image. The processing block, termed as word module, consists of hierarchical organized bank of trained support vector machines which identifies the class or category of the object present in the segmented region. This identifier module simulates the word visual pathway of the brain. It specifies a list of top rank ordered candidate classes or categories of the segmented object. The first in the list is flower with 93% score or confidence. The other two classes in the rank order are cow and postbox, and the corresponding low scores are also shown here. Since the unsupervised segmentation is clean and clear, the classifier is much confident that the object within the scene is a flower. In the next stage, we pass the spooned output to 3 detectors corresponding to the top 3 class ranks identified. This stage simulates the fair visual pathway of the brain, where a detector exactly identifies the spatial extent or location of the corresponding object. The detectors are class specific and trained using SVM. Although one can use HAL-like features using AdaBoost, the detector for the top rank flower now identifies the object with a tighter boundary. When the segmented output is given to another detector corresponding to the class cow, the second ranked object class, it does not detect the presence of a cow in the scene. The detector for the third class also does not detect a post box. Hence, for this example of query image, after 2 stages of processing, we have just one object class identified with its corresponding spatial extent which is filtered. To simulate the feedback process between the two human visual pathways within our SLAR framework, we pass the detector outputs to the identifier stage again. This particular image with a flower is a simple, clean example, and the identifier stage reconfirms the same object, flower. The overall process of SLAR is an iterative feedback system which converges in this case in one round of iteration. To summarize, the first identifier stage specifies flower as the top ranked object class in this query image. The detector produced the exact spatial location for the same and eliminated entries of all other lower ranked object classes. When fed back again to the identifier, it reconfirms the presence of a flower with a larger score of confidence. We now access the database and retrieve all those images corresponding to the class flower. So, this is the output of our smart CBIR system, which takes the input of the class ID and retrieves all flowers as shown here. This is the output of our proposed smart CBIR engine. The retrieved results are rank ordered left to right row wise based strictly on the shape of the object. You may add color too as a feature if desired. As you go down the rows, you will find flowers which are different in structure than the object in the query input. If color is used as an additional feature for matching, all yellow flowers would have been in the top of the list. We compare the results with an unsupervised CBIR engine which extracts feature from the whole image. Multi-texton histogram is used as a feature, and this work was published in Pattern Recognition in year 2010. From the retrieved results, we'll find now that it won't be as superior as the smart CBIR system. In fact, it is an unsupervised system which tries to extract features from all over the image, and it retrieved images belonging to many different categories, including flowers as well as those containing sheep, cow, and other different types of flowers as visible here. But of course, it is successful in retrieving all yellow flowers. It extracts feature from the entire image, and wherever it found a combination of green as a background of the query image and yellow colors, it has retrieved similar results. So, if you are willing to extract images which have flowers, our smart CBIR engine is much better and efficient as the result shows. This is very simple and straightforward example in which the object in the image is very distinct and salient in the scene. What if the example of a query image is not properly segmented by the initial unsupervised segmenter? Then can our system accurately identify the object as well as detect its position for functioning of the CBIR? Remember, this is a multi-class detection problem, and both the class and location of the object are unknown. What if the true class of the object is not in the first rank? To analyze the performance of such a challenging example, we will select another image sample. We will clear this set of results. So we load another query. Let's take this image of a post box which is quite clear, and let it pass through the unsupervised segmentation stage. It does not detect the foreground object as distinctly as the earlier case of a flower. This stage detects areas in the background as a part of the foreground object. We prune this output to eliminate few noisy, small isolated patches around the output of the grab cut. As you can see now, we have one region, but it consists of both the foreground object and a part of the background region. What happens if we pass it to our identifier, which attempts to specify what object is present? Observe that the class ID of postbox it does not appear as rank number 1. Our identifier module within the SLAR engine, which we have designed now, specifies that it appears to be a car, which is incorrect. Also, the corresponding score for this mistakenly labeled object class for first rank is not too high as well. The second ranked object is specified as a spoon, which is also an incorrect result. And finally, the post box, which is identified as the third rank with a very low score as that of for spoon, is actually the correct result of the object class. As demonstrated earlier, we pass this query image to the corresponding detectors, which will detect all of the corresponding objects within the foreground segmented image. For the rank 1 object class, the detector stage will try to detect car within this image. Let's see if it detects a car. Well, it seems to localize a structure that does not appear to be a structure of a car. This erroneous result of the car detector is caused mainly due to many training samples used for car with a red color. Next, we test the region using a spoon detector. It does not detect a spoon either, which is also displayed by the corresponding blank output here. So, spoon is eliminated from the list of top 3 candidate classes of objects. We go next to the third option, to the post box detector, and that means this process will now try to detect a post box in this region, which it does successfully and quite accurately. The region identified as post box is now very clean and encapsulates the spatial extent of the exact foreground object of interest. For feedback, we again pass only the 2 non-null outputs back to the identifier stage. For the first ranked object, we pass the detector region, and this process now identifies if there is a car. It says no, it's not a car. The process of recognizer module in this second stage of iteration now specifies that the top rank object is not a valid structure of a car, and so we eliminate the class car from our list of candidate object classes. We are thus left with only one of the options among the top 3 candidate classes of objects, the initially third ranked object post box. Now, when we give the third ranked object and its identified region to the identifier, this process says, yes, my rank is 1 and the class or object category is post box. Look, that its corresponding score is much higher. The process of feedback and iteration has now improved the detection and score because the segmented region itself is much clean. So you can see that the improvement is visible in both in the identifier as well as the detector at the second stage of iteration itself. To summarize this example, the initial unsupervised detector produced major parts of background, and the identifier stage ranked the correct category of the post box class as the third rank. Successive stages of processing of supervised identifiers and detectors with a feedback arrangement iteratively improve the results for our smart CBIR system. And finally, only one identifier output which had a valid concurrence of object class and accurate region detected as post box remains the only winner as top rank. So, the smart CBIR system now triggers the retrieval with the post box ID. It retrieves all the images of corresponding post box from the gallery, which has been organized based on class or object category. Results are rank ordered row wise based on shape. If you give this query to an unsupervised system, of course it will perform ORs. This now retrieves images of post box and a few other objects like cars which have a red color, and even object which is neither a car or a post box here. Remember that This is an unsupervised CBIR engine which produces much inferior performance. Thank you very much for your time. This work has been partly sponsored by DRDO Labs, CARE Bangalore and DTRL Delhi. Contributor for the work Ganesh Dibedi and Sukhendu Das. Video editing support Pratik Srivastava, Sudeshna Roy, Nitin Gupta and Chiranjay Chattopadhyay.